Will give to Averett, back to Lohner, and the alley-oop throw down as they run the break to perfection. 38-24, Cougars by 14.
Coming up on BYU basketball with Mark Pope, the Cougs were on cruise control in California, picking up 2 runaway wins to solidify second place in the WCC. Now it's back home where some fans finally await. An excited Coach Pope and his seniors are coming up next.
This is BYU Basketball with Mark Pope, presented by Siegfried & Jensen. And now, your host, the voice of the Cougars, Greg Wrubell.
Good evening once again, Cougar basketball fans. Welcome back inside the BYU Broadcasting Building in Provo for more BYU Basketball with Mark Pope, #Pope Show on Twitter. It's the Hour of Power. And we have an extra special show in store for you tonight. Coming up on this evening's program, we'll recap the NorCal-SoCal road sweep for BYU from last week. We will look ahead to home games versus San Francisco and St. Mary's. They'll be special ones. Our Cougar Q&A brings us the one and only Gideon George, while Deep Blue features AB, Alex Barcello. And Alex will be one of 3 seniors joining us on set on the show, along with teammates Matt Harms and Brandon Averett as they prepare to play their final home games on Senior Week. We start the show by saying hello to head coach Mark Pope, and it took until our second to last show of the season and the final week of play, but we finally get to say welcome back to fans in the Marriott Center. What a special week for these seniors, especially this is going to be.
I mean, it's so fantastic. And it's been a lot of thought and a lot of work by, kudos, and so grateful to President Worthen and Keith Vorkink and Tom and Brian and our whole entire medical staff and every doctor that they've consulted with and really generally the effort that the state of Utah has made to kind of have our numbers go down. And so for us to be able to, even if we're squeezing into the last week, for us to have this senior week, our last 2 games of the regular season as a top 20 metric team and get to welcome fans back in the stands. Let's go,
Let's go. I knew that was coming.
It's so great.
So we're here at the end of February. 3 months ago, we had our debut show. And what we're announcing tonight is a culmination of something you asked for back in week 1.
All of you government officials and you medical professionals who are doing such an extraordinary job managing this COVID, we got to have it figured out by February 27th so we can have fans in stands.
And it happened. It happened in time.
I'll tell you what, and I don't mean to make light of it, obviously a worldwide, incredibly serious situation, but I think a lot of us everybody in the world, I think everyone in the world has been praying that we can kind of make some strides and start to get to the other side of this. And I'm just so grateful for everybody that's been working so hard to make this possible. And that probably includes everybody, because everybody is trying to wear a mask and social distance and do what we can to kind of get to a point where we can do this. And this is obviously a semi-inconsequential in terms of the world moment, but it is like inching back into something really positive. And for us as basketball players and a basketball team at BYU and the Marriott Center, this is going to be really special. And I'm so grateful for our seniors. We were considering for the last 3 weeks what we were going to do on senior night with nobody in the stands and how just odd and unfulfilling that might be. And so this is incredibly special.
And hopefully from a broader perspective, another indicator that things are heading, again, in a positive direction. Well, BYU heads into its final week of the regular season, coming off 2 big wins last week. Let's take a look back at the stats and the highlights presented by Intermountain Healthcare. It was a California road set to Coach Pope, Pacific and LMU. And what a great start you had in Stockton.
Yeah, there's so many guys that stepped up and did incredible things, but tonight is senior night. I'm talking a lot about our seniors. We talked about a lot post-game. We had unbelievable performances. When we got there for shoot-around the night before the game, the first thing I did was pull out my phone and FaceTime Jake Toulson, because we had such epic moments in that gym last year as Jake Toulson saved us actually to win that really hard-fought game. Pacific, it was 9 out of 10. The only game they'd lost was to the Zags, so we knew it was going to be a challenge, and our guys just came and performed at an epic level.
So BYU wins at Pacific. The final score 80-52. Tremendous night for so many players, and the Cougars have really shot the ball well from deep late in the season as well. That's coming around for you.
Yeah, it's been really important for us, and it's part of the kind of the way we operate. But we're starting to get a little bit better flow. These three seniors have been such incredible teachers and also so patient with younger guys on the team, and had to battle through a lot of frustration where things didn't. We just were learning. We're just learning and learning and learning. And so on this road trip specifically, it felt like our decision-making took another step in the right direction where we just had a little bit better flow to what we were doing, and that creates better looks and open shots for guys. We had guys step up and make them.
Going on the road is tough in any league, regardless of who you're playing or what league you're playing in. And you've been able to go and kind of put a hammer down your last few road trips. What's the key to that?
Yeah, again, these three seniors. I mean, we're going to get to this LMU game. I'm sure we'll show the clip. But, we start out 7-0, 2 minutes into the game. And LMU, who had won 4 games in a row, calls a timeout. And you can see in Matt Harms and Alex Barcello and Brandon Averett's faces that they are 100% emotionally invested in that game in the moment. And that's why you win, and you win big on the road.
Should we get to LMU?
Let's do it.
All right. BYU was in L.A. for Game 2 of this California road swing. Cougars and Lions on a Saturday matinee at Gersten Pavilion. Tremendous start, and you started with Caleb Lohner kind of picking up where you left off in Stockton.
Yeah, I mean, how about Caleb Lohner being the number 1 3-point shooting player in the entire West Coast Conference, has shot more than 10 threes in the regular season. He just had an unbelievable road trip. He was so solid. His decision-making was so sound. He shot it so well. And then Matt Harms was really the story from the beginning to the end, starting with his rim protection with 5 blocks and scoring 21 points. Really high percentage, and he was just incredible. He was just too much to handle in so many ways. And Alex Barcello and Brandon Averette, in the course of the 2 games, are 21-5. They're over a 4-to-1 assist to turnover for those 2 tough road games. And if those guys together are 4-to-1 ratio, we're winning. And so the guys performed at epic level.
And I know you say it's not the most important thing they do, but they also combined to average 27 points a game in the 2 games.
Yeah, and they're feeding this team in so many ways, and then their toughness defensively and leadership-wise for both those guys was just extraordinary.
And as you mentioned, the LMU is a team that had won 4 in a row. They had the WCC Player of the Week, regardless of the outcome Saturday. Eli Scott won that award last week. That's a good team that's played some good ball of late.
Yeah, they're playing great, and they're just matchup nightmares everywhere. And so was really just incredibly pleased with our guys. And the way they started the game all the way through the game, you could just tell they had a great focus going in, and we're trying to keep growing on that this week because it's going to be another tough week.
It was a great week in the win-loss column, great week in the metrics as well for BYU. Let's go inside the numbers now, presented by Mountain America Credit Union. We're going to go to KenPom here and talk about the fact that BYU, as of today, Coach Pope, is one of only 11 Division I teams in KenPom that are top 30 offensive efficiency and top 30 defensive efficiency. You take that and you pare it down more. Only 3 of the 11 are also a top 40 team in effective field goal percentage, both offense and defense. And the other 2 teams you're with are Michigan and Illinois, 2 top 5 teams in the net.
Yeah, we're really proud of that. The balance that we've been able to strike this year, offensively and defensively, with our depth and with our rotation. We talked about it all season long, that it gave us a high ceiling. And hopefully we're getting closer and closer to that. And the guys have shown unbelievable progress. But the balance that we have is probably the thing that sets us is probably one of our greatest strengths.
You were probably known last year more as an offensive team than a defensive team, right?
Yeah.
So what did it take to kind of bring the balance back to where you're as good defensively as you are on the attack?
Well, it's a real credit to our staff first. Coach Feger and Coach Burgess and Coach Robinson have done an unbelievable job trying to grow that way. Keegan Brown, who does all our film and analytics, has been steering the ship. All together, they've done an incredible job. And then you bring in the number 1 rim protector in all of college basketball, and Matt Harms, and it makes a difference. And you have guys like Caleb Lohner and Gideon George step up, and Brandon Averette, who's a uniquely qualified excellent ball screen on the point defender, and Alex Barcello has always been a great defender. And so, it probably starts with personnel and goes everywhere else, but we're really proud of the progress we've made because it doesn't come easy and it doesn't happen by mistake. It happens because the whole program is dedicated to growing in that area every single day.
As we mentioned off the top of the show in the Open, BYU solidifies its second place standing in the WCC. Let's get to the standings. We're taking a look at two different sets of standings. On the left, you're going to see the league's adjusted win percentage ranking. Now, that was last updated Sunday. Won't be updated again until Friday. So that's what we had as of the weekend. Since then, a couple of games have been played, and the results of those games do show up in the right-hand column, where St. Mary's got a win over Pepperdine yesterday, and Pacific got a win at San Diego today. So on the right is the true record, and on the left is the AWP, and you're in a good spot in both places.
Yeah, it's no secret that I'm not a huge fan of the AWP, with the exception of this. Since none of us have any idea how it works, every morning you wake up and you're like, what's it going to be? And so the unknown, I guess, is exciting, but it's, everyone's doing the best they can. We're doing the best we can.
I do know this. If you keep winning games, you're going to be where you want to be at the end of this thing.
That's right. This is just win, baby.
All right, take a look at the BYU resume right now. We're going to go from last week to this week, as we tend to do. And so from last Tuesday's show till this Tuesday's show, you've taken big jumps in almost every category there. And it was a great weekend for you in KenPom. And KenPom measures kind of the way you play, and the way you're playing right now. It gets a lot of respect at both sides of the floor.
Yeah, these numbers are really good. The ones that we look at put the most weight into our net and KenPom. The net is, of course, the NCAA sponsored kind of number one tool they use. And KenPom is such a good matrix because it takes into account the difficulty of schedule and rates everything that way. And so we're super excited about that. We went up in every single metric except the AWP. After 2 wins on the road, we actually went down from 0.811 to a 0.801. So there you go.
Either way, BYU is a solid number 2 as the conference tournament nears. You saw brackets as well. Joe Lunardi today has you up in the S-curve to a 27 overall, which puts you in the 7-seed territory. Yep. And a lot of people like the 7 more than they do the 8-9
yep.
because they look down the bracket, right, and who it matches you up with. And,
yep.
of course, the higher the better in every by every standing. But you are moving up.
Yeah, and it's exciting to watch. I mean, listen, we're so excited about everything that's going on. It's so fun. It's the greatest thing in the world. And yet the only thing we need to worry about is Thursday. We got to find some way to win Thursday. So in the periphery, all this stuff is happening. And listen, a 7 seed is awesome. Can we get to a 6 seed? Can we hold the 7 seed? Those are all questions to be determined. But the most important thing is, you already mentioned, we got to find a way to win a game Thursday, and then we'll trust that everything else will take care of itself.
All right, that is segment number 1. It's been taken care of. When we come back, we'll preview round 2 with both San Francisco and St. Mary's. And later, Alex Barcello, Matt Harms, and Brandon Averett will all join us here in studio as BYU Basketball with Mark Pope continues.
BYU Basketball with Mark Pope is brought to you by Siegfried and Jensen, helping Utah families for over 30 years. Intermountain Healthcare, always here for you. Mountain America Credit Union, guiding you forward. Smith's, fresh for everyone. And by Deseret News.
Welcome back to BYU Basketball with Mark Pope, presented by Siegfried and Jensen. Here's our broadcast schedule for this week. San Francisco in town Thursday. Cougar pregame live on BYU Radio starts at 8 Eastern. The game on CBS Sports Network 1 hour later. Saturday, final home game and regular season finale senior night starting at 9 Eastern on BYU Radio with the pregame, followed by the game itself on ESPNU or ESPN2. Let's take a closer look now at the weekend ahead as we get to know the foe, presented by Qualtrics. BYU taking on 2 teams the Cougs have already beaten this season. First up, Coach Mark Pope, it is San Francisco, a team currently on a 4-game slide. They've lost 5 of 6 coming into your place.
Yeah, really, really good team. Has gone through a little bit of a rough patch. Their return from their COVID pause has been tough for them. They're still trying to work their way back into it. But they're so dangerous. Early in the season, they knocked off Virginia as the number 4 ranked team in the country at the time. They shoot a incredibly high percentage of their of their field goal attempts are threes, and so it makes them a ridiculously dangerous team anytime you play them. And they're hungry right now. They know that they have to get back on track. They're considered one of the top teams in this league. They only have 2 games left until they go to West Coast Conference Tournament, so they're going to come in here like their whole season depends on this game, the same way as we are. Like our whole season depends on this game, and it's going to be a battle, just like it was down there. And I got tremendous respect for that program and for Coach Golden and his staff and their players. They have some star players on that team that are real problems, and so it's going to be a great game.
2 of those guys are capable of going for 30-plus on any given night, and they do that.
Yeah, and particularly Shabazz, it seems like he goes for 30 every single time he plays us, and making ridiculously difficult shots. And Bouye is maybe the longest, most explosive to-the-rim player maybe in our league in that particular skill set. Both those guards are terrific defensively in the backcourt, getting their hands on balls and causing turnovers, and they have great length in the front court, so it's a challenging game.
Okay, St. Mary's follows the USF game. St. Mary's Saturday. They'll be capping off a 3-game week at the Marriott Center Saturday night. They beat Pepperdine yesterday in Moraga. Then they'll host Pacific Thursday before coming to your place on the weekend. And similar to the USF game, this is a game you trail in the second half and you go on a nice, strong double-digit run late to close it out.
Yeah, and St. Mary's changed their rotation a little bit, brought up some younger players that have actually been playing great for them. And they're the same St. Mary's team. Like we've said a million times, Randy Bennett could walk into this studio and right now and take Jerem and Julie and me and you and anybody else that's in here and probably be in the top 3 in the league. I mean, he's that good a coach. And so it's a incredibly challenging week. And we're excited to go. We're excited to go compete.
All right, USF and St. Mary's as Cougars close out the regular season at home. After our break, a compelling Deep Blue on Alex Barcello and your questions for Coach Pope from social media. This is BYU Basketball with Mark Pope.
BYU Basketball with Mark Pope is brought to you by Siegfried and Jensen, helping Utah families for over 30 years. America First Credit Union, we're here to help. The BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. Zions Bank, we haven't forgotten who keeps us in business. And by Qualtrics.
Get ready for Cougar Hoops in March with a chance to win one of 5 BYU basketball fan packs that includes an autographed basketball, Roku, official team shirt, poster, and we talked about a pool party at the Pope House last week, but we haven't checked that with legal. Go to BYUSN.com for details. The giveaway runs through February 24th. That's tomorrow. BYU broadcasting employees and relatives are ineligible.
That read gets better every week.
We've had over 13,000 people jump on for these fan packs. How awesome is that?
And there will be at least a few more after that read tonight.
And most exciting, now I'm officially unionized, right? So I start receiving a check.
You're one of us now.
Let's go, baby.
Yep. Cougars in the Pros is presented by Deseret News. Let's take a look at our guys. Brandon Davies, Yoli Childs, Elijah Bryant. Former Cougars we know and love. All somehow picked up beards once they left school. You mentioned, we talked last week on the show about Jake Toolson's season-ending injury. He was with the Salt Lake City Stars. And you weren't joking about FaceTiming Jake in Stockton last week. I saw that.
Yeah, no. It was actually super special. One of the best things is, I think we all get to do it as fans too. But as soon as I walked into that gym, I was flooded with the memory of Jake racing down the floor 3 straight possessions and banging back-to-back-to-back threes to break open the game. And after every single 3, looking at everyone in the stands.
Finding someone new to...
everyone on our bench, everyone on their bench, and just... That game meant so much to us as a team, and it was just heroic, courageous, lost completely in the moment experience for Jake and for our team, and I think you never forget him. So as soon as I walked in the building, I hadn't thought about it before I got there. As soon as I walked in the building, I'm like, I got to call Jake, because it just started flooding back, and these players give us real gifts that we get to remember forever.
Cool moments. That was awesome. Time now for Cougar Q&A, presented by Zions Bank. We haven't forgotten who keeps us in business. And tonight, through the words of his teammates, we get to know Gideon George.
Gideon is another one of those hard-working guys that always just seems to be doing the right thing at the right time.
He just has an infectious personality. You know, if you can make Gideon laugh, you probably get the whole room laughing.
He is always just saying the most outrageous things and making guys laugh.
The dude can play FIFA with the best of them. So I'd say TJ Haws, McKay Cannon, like, y'all better watch out.
He has a very energetic personality, and he's super loud, so when he laughs, you can hear it.
He's so funny. I love just how excited he is about life, how happy he is to, just be alive.
He's a guy that just has impact all over the floor.
And he's also a freak athlete. He jumps so high. He's got Kawhi hands. He's got long arms.
He gives back to where he comes from by sending shoes over to where he used to live. I don't know anyone else in the country that is doing that.
He's from Nigeria. He really cares about his home country and his people and his family back there, but he's also really motivated to work towards his goals that he has here.
He does stuff that's bigger than basketball, and he's always trying to be that guy to help other people up.
You can tell how much he cares about everyone and every conversation that he's in, and I'm so glad that he came to this school and I can call him my teammate.
Well, his teammates love him. Cougar Nation loves him already, and I'm glad that he'll get to be in the building this week and get to feel a little bit of that in-person love from the fans at the Marriott Center, too.
Yeah, first time. It's funny. One of the guys mentioned his laugh and how infectious it is. We have on the staff, we have a phrase that we throw around all the time that's very literal when we say that's what winning sounds like. It's what winning sounds like. And so when we jump in the bus after a game, when we're in the locker room after a game, when we're on the plane coming home after a game, or in the hotel at a team meal between two games, and you hear the energy in the room and the guys talking and joking and teasing each other and laughing and telling ridiculous stories, that's what winning sounds like. And we commented on all the time because you can hear it. And one of the things we hear all the time is Gideon laughing, like after a win with the team in the locker room, wherever. He just does have this magical laugh. He's just a beautiful human being.
And we hope Gideon's just getting going as a Cougar, too. From a Cougar Q&A to social media Q&A time on the Pope Show now, presented by Smith's. Fresh for everyone. Let's go to social media question number 1. And it asks, considering that yourself, Coach Burgess, and Coach Robinson were all high-profile LDS players who were recruited by BYU but chose to attend other P5 schools, what's your pitch to other high-profile LDS recruits that they should choose BYU?
Well, we don't really bring that into it a lot, I don't think. I think what all three of us do is appreciate how extraordinary this place is. It just is incredible. And what BYU represents, what BYU is striving to grow into, and what BYU is striving to be for the world, and what this basketball program is trying to accomplish, I think is what we sell and what our team culture is about. And so, we don't really reflect on that a whole bunch. I've told the anecdote a lot. When I came here to work for Coach Rose, we had that fun exchange where I had come to kind of check out the place for a weekend to see if it was the right fit. And he drove me back to the airport and was sending me home. And he had talked about why he didn't come to BYU. And he just kind of whispered to me, like the way Coach Rose does. He was like, Mark, as I'm getting out the car, he's like, if I was coaching here when you were being recruited, you would have come, right? And so...
either way, you and Chris and Nick are all glad that your paths took you here at the same time together.
We're so blessed. We're so blessed to be able to coach here. This is there's a lot of great jobs in college basketball. There's not that many distinctively unique great jobs in college basketball. There's not that many distinctively unique places as a player where you get to go play. There's maybe a handful, and we're one of them. And so the opportunity we have at a coach here, it makes recruiting really easy because this is an extraordinary place.
Okay, short, quick question for our second here. Do you say anything to keep players loose during timeouts, or is it all game strategy and motivation?
It's both. Game strategy and motivation is a lot about how your roster feels and what kind of faces you're seeing in the huddle, right? And so sometimes you might actually need to release your guys by breaking a clipboard or going crazy. Sometimes in a really stressful moment, you just need to kind of make a sideways glancing joke. Very much the energy is what we try and manage, and so it's very artistic.
When you were a player, did you ever have a legendary timeout moment from a coach?
Oh, my gosh. Yes, Coach Pitino. I mean, I can tell you a million stories. So, Coach, I'll tell you, do we have time, Jaron, for one story? It'll be really quick.
We'll go quick.
So, Coach Pitino was so hard driving. So, we're playing an exhibition game, okay, against some professional team from somewhere. We're up 22-4. They go on a 6-point run to go to down 22-10. We're still winning by 12, like 7 minutes into the game. Coach calls a timeout, and he is using every word that we're not allowed to say here at BYU, plus some other words, okay? Screaming at us, spitting at us. And we got out of the huddle. I will never forget, Walter McCarty went on to play a long time in the NBA, was a great player. He turned to me, white as a ghost, and he was like about to cry, and he's like, Mark, we got to fix this because we know he was going to kill us the next day. And so we had a lot of timeouts like that. It was magic, and it worked.
Coming up after this, Alex Barcello's Deep Blue, and AB is joined by fellow seniors Matt Harms and Brandon Averett in studio. This is BYU Basketball with Mark Pope. Basketball with Mark Pope, presented by Siegfried and Jensen. Well, after winning multiple state championships for his high school in Tempe, Alex Barcello began his college hoops career in his home state for the Arizona Wildcats. But after 2 years in Tucson, AB wasn't quite feeling okay. Mark Pope helped alter Alex's path, a path that took him to Provo. And this is Deep Blue, brought to you by America First Credit Union.
I was at work that day when you called me, and I always get excited when I see one of my children calling, and I answer, but I heard your voice, and as your mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't say that to you, but I felt it. I'm like, you're like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, I'll be home.
He was super broken. His experience at his former school was really, really difficult. He kind of lost some of his love of the game. Spent a lot of time questioning his own ability and his own skill and his own future, and it left him on really uncertain waters.
He was just like he just got out of bed. You know, normally he's all, together, and that's like not my son. Like and broken and scared.
The end of my sophomore season, I just came to the conclusion that if I still wanted to follow my dreams, my girlfriend Zoe, she told me, she's like, you got to get a bigger opportunity, and you got to go somewhere that's going to love and care about you as a person and as a basketball player, and really look at you for who you are and what you can contribute to the game out there. And it was a rough summer for me. I'm not going to lie. It was a rough summer, kind of like a roller coaster, ups and downs.
We kind of all got together, and we were writing pros and cons between BYU and Butler, like my final decisions. I was writing down all the pros, and then I got to the cons section, and I kind of turned to Zoe, turned to you guys, and I was like, I can't think of a con. I don't. And then my next thought was, does this mean I should call him? Like, should I call Coach Pope and commit? And that's exactly what I did. You guys were all like, yeah, call him right now, everyone. I just remember it so vividly how happy you guys were for me. And
how happy you were.
Yeah. Belief is everything. Like, when you have people that, can stand for you and have your back through thick and thin, no matter what you're going through, like, it speaks tremendously, and I think that's what I had when I came here.
If somebody believes in you, you would run through walls for that person. You just needed them to believe in you.
God always has a plan. Never in a million years would I have expected to be here at BYU, but, I'm here, and I'm loving it. I've loved every step of the way through thick and thin. Like, I'll go to war for this team. I'll go to war for Coach Pope just because of the belief that he has in me.
He is the undisputed leader of this team, and he works at it every single day. He is oozing with swag and confidence every single day. He knows who he is and he knows what he can do in no uncertain terms.
It's amazing to see the growth that he's made with his voice, with his challenging of his teammates, with his demanding of his teammates.
He thinks about how can I help the individuals on this team every single day. He is a born leader that is now a work in progress of rebirth as a leader. And it makes your job as a head coach so easy when you have guys that care about leading a team that much.
Great defense! We won, baby! Let's go, man. The bounce back. It's real.
Coach Pope fixed my son. He was so broken. It was so devastating as a mom to see her son come before her like that. And everything he did, every step he took, all the words he spoke, all the actions he took, bringing him into a safe spot around a wonderful community, a wonderful university, wonderful teammates, and leading that was amazing. And I will never, ever be able to thank him enough because he saved my child. And you're laughing, and you're smiling, and you're joyful again. And that's huge for a mom.
I have this circle around me that is just so phenomenal to me and believes so much in me that, like, I want to achieve everything that I'm setting out to achieve for myself, but for them as well, and to kind of show them almost like a thank you for, believing in me so much. Like, it wouldn't have been possible without you to continue on this path.
All right. Well, spoiler alert, AB's actually here, right?
What's up?
It's not exactly This Is Your Life, but you got to see that sitting here in the studio as it was on the monitor. What were your thoughts watching that?
Oh, super emotional, but, man, I'm so happy to be here, to be able to play with this group of guys and, be a senior with them and play for a coach like this. It's amazing. It's a blessing.
And he's been a blessing to you.
Yeah, to all of us. I mean, to all of us. Like, we're blessed. Like, these three guys right here, I said we did press conference today, and it's just like what these three guys here have done for BYU in this one-of-a-kind year that we've never had, where this university has been challenged in all kind of different ways, and for these guys to be, representing BYU to the nation in terms of our slice of basketball is what a gift it is, and certainly as a coach, it's been such an unbelievable gift to be able to be around them every day. I mean, sometimes they hate me, but I actually love them every single day.
Let's give them a proper...
Why is Brandon laughing so loud? Brandon laughed louder when I said the part about him hating me more than anybody else.
They deserve a good introduction. I'll tell you that a limited number of fans will be allowed into the Marriott Center to see BYU's final two home games this week. And while that's great news for a lot of fortunate spectators, it's also especially welcome news for BYU's seniors who get to enjoy a senior night that'll feel just a little bit closer to normal. And tonight we welcome in all three BYU seniors, Brandon Averett, Alex Barcello, and Matt Harms. Guys, thanks for coming in, all of you.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
And let's start there maybe for a second. Fans in the building, it took some time, but it's going to happen. What do you guys think?
Man, I'm excited, this year has been crazy, honestly, I just forget about it in the games, we just get so locked in on the games, but it's like we were playing against Utah State, I remember, and they only had 2,000 fans, and it felt like it was a packed out arena, so it's going to be fun. I'm excited for sure.
Matt?
The same thing, that Utah State game, it's still just etched into my memory, even though they only had 2,000 fans, is what it starts to feel like. But to us, that's going to feel like a full gym. Just having anybody in the Marriott Center just feels like having a full gym, just because we've been to so many places, all these teams in the West Coast Conference that don't have anybody in there. You have the people at the scorer's table, that's your crowd. So just to have anyone in there is just going to be so special for us. Just to have that on our senior night is really special, and you forget how much those fans really matter.
AB, you've been in a packed Marriott Center before. You know what it really feels like when it's to the rafters. But I think even though you've had that experience, you're going to embrace what's going to happen Thursday, Saturday in maybe not exactly the same way, but in an equally grateful way.
For sure. I think our bench is going to have a little bit of a break. They've been carrying the load for us this whole season. But, yeah, I'm just so excited to play in front of our fans. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Senior night. I'm excited for these guys to get to experience that, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
And I'm sure, Coach Pope, you would love for them all together to have a full Marriott Center experience. Yep. But you can already know that these guys, especially BA and Matt, are going to feel it like they haven't yet this year.
Yeah, just to feel some voice in the gym would be really special.
How would you guys characterize this senior season? We're not quite done yet, but,
It's been different. It's been so different that you almost forget what it's like to play a normal season of college basketball. We've had our challenges, but it's also been just beautiful in its own way. Just the connections I've made with this team in just such a short amount of time. It's just been, for me, it's just been really special. I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity I got here. I'm just so happy to be here. And now the fact that we actually get to round it out with 2 games with fans in the gym, that just makes it that much more special to me.
BA?
I would say this year has been kind of just a lesson, just 1 year, you just have to respond no matter what. You just don't know what's going to come at you. You're grinding every single day hard, going hard in practice, and then you're going to have a game next day, and you could be on the flight on the way to the game, and it gets canceled, so you just got to stay locked in. And I think we have done a great job of just continuing to keep fighting and just sticking through it, no matter what, so it takes a special group of guys to do stuff like that, and it's just been a life lesson in my opinion, and I've been loving it, and we're going to keep going, so it's been great.
So he said you can be on a flight and, turn back. He was asleep on the first flight. And we landed back in Provo, and he was so confused. And just laughing at him.
Man,
you for sure thought that guys were punking you, right?
Yeah, I was like, what? We're that was crazy.
This is California? Snowing.
It was snowing. I'm like, how? I wasn't asleep that long.
But senior night, I think of senior night, and usually senior night is you bring out a guy, and it's this culmination of 4 or 5 or 6 years. It's been this long guy, and you're going to have 2, and you'll each have had 1 year at BYU. Yet there's still a special feeling about you guys, from Cougar Nation to you. How do you guys feel about being like a BYU guy after only, say, a year or 2 years?
Together we form one full senior.
That's right. You've got 4 years between the 3 of you.
Our jerseys is going to be all 3 of our names together. We only get only one per 4 years, guys. Sorry.
Do you feel like a BYU guy?
I do. I do feel like a BYU guy. Even though I haven't seen the fans to that capacity, the support's still been there. Whether it be on campus from 20 feet away, someone threw their mask, being like, "Wait, you're Matt Harms!" I walk across campus quite a bit from my apartment. It's about a 15-minute walk. And every day I walk, there's always a couple interactions, just with someone just being like, "Oh man, when is you guys' next game? I'm so excited. The season's going so well." That kind of stuff. And then of course glad to be living in a digital age that there's so much support on social media and just everywhere. Just to see that has been really awesome. I'm definitely a BYU guy for life.
Brandon, how about you?
Definitely feel like a BYU guy. Just you always feel the support. Just like Matt was saying, social media is just. It's constant every single day, Ever since I've decided to come here, it's been nonstop, honestly. So I definitely feel like a BYU guy, and I'm so glad that I decided to make the decision to come here. And like he said, I'm a Cougar for life. So.
And Alex,
it's a special feeling, mainly just because of the culture here, the way our coaches teach us, just to play for the name on the front of your jersey, and it's been amazing being able to play with a team that embraces that, not playing for the name on the back of your jersey and just trying to go out there and represent our school the best we can.
We're going to have you guys watch the monitor again. We're going to see what your teammates have to say about the seniors on this year's team.
Alex Barcello is one of the greatest leaders I've ever had on a basketball team. He's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen, and he's always bringing it every single day.
He's just a great guy. He's super nice. He's a really great friend, and if you see
Alex ever smile. You can tell that it's really genuine. He's just a really happy guy.
Alex Barcello, he's a winner at heart. He has a bunch of passion for the game. He has a bunch of fire, and he can get our team going whenever.
He's obviously a tremendous player on the court, but I think he's got an even bigger heart off the court.
We love him, and we're going to miss him. Matt is the tallest guy that I know. He's also the nicest guy that I know, and every day he brings the best of himself.
He's definitely someone that works harder than anyone I know. He's in the gym 24/7. He put up the most shots during the off season.
After I tore my Achilles when we were in the locker room after the game, he came up to me and gave one of the biggest hugs on the team, literally and figuratively. But he's a very kind person and really cares about his teammates.
He's just an amazing guy to be around. He's so kind and nice off the court, and then on the court, he's a beast. He's a threat to be reckoned with.
It's really nice to have him on the court because he blocks like everything. If anybody gets past you, he's just blocking everything.
Brandon Averett.
Brandon's a pretty quiet guy, but man, when he's on the court, you always know that he's there.
BA is literally the hardest worker I've ever known. I don't think he leaves the court ever. He's always here. He's getting shots up. He's working on his ball handling.
He is my brother, and he's a really, really good leader. And he's my friend. I'm glad to call him my friend.
Well, they're going to miss you guys. You're going to miss your boys too, right?
Yeah.
It's a good group.
Sure.
Coach Pope, when you see that, what are your thoughts?
I mean, come on. Like, what a gift it is. Like, you just get to hear these guys speak for 2 minutes, and it's so clear to see what type of human beings they are. And then we get to watch what they do on the court, and how great is my life that I get to, have this job, if you can even call it that. It's a real honor, and we're super grateful for these guys. And I say all that with them clearly understanding that they got a lot of work ahead of them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The best stuff is coming.
So there's more to be done. But if you had to generalize their impact, this group's impact on your team this year,
it's hard to quantify. I mean, how many times do you have a team that loses 7 seniors, loses their entire rotation, right? And in a year of COVID, when you see so many terrific programs slide away because they don't have the normal time to train, the normal time to be together, the normal time for a staff to have an impact on a team. Well, with these 3 leaders, they didn't need the staff to have a huge impact on the team. We didn't need all the bonding time because these guys took it upon themselves, like with the mission that they have this year, to make this team something special and make this team function. And it's been spectacular to witness. We're really blessed.
All right, as we go to break, we've got more of the seniors coming up, by the way. Stay with us. As we go to break, here's this week's trivia question presented by the BYU store. Sean Bradley holds BYU's single-game record for blocked shots. How many shots did Sean swat to set the record? The answer coming up after this. All right, trivia time here on the show. Sean Bradley holds BYU's single-game record for blocked shots. How many shots did Sean swat to set the record? The answer is 14. Seems like a lot. Eastern Kentucky back in December of 1990. Matt, you're somebody that's had a few blocked shots in your career. Does 14 seem like a lot to you?
14 seems like a lot to me, yeah. That's definitely, he's a guy that, of course, 7'6", 7'7", in that range. Yeah. So, I mean, at that point, if you're going up there, you're just kind of throwing it up and hoping. Like Sean Bradley's in front. I feel like you're just kind of like, oh, this is going to get blocked anyways.
Yeah. And as well as you've done this season, no one's going to touch it. Like no one, like his single season record is like just not going to happen.
Well, imagine you're walking in at halftime and you got 8 blocks on the stat sheet at halftime.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
All right, we are here with the seniors: Alex Barcello, Brandon Averett, and Matt Harms. We're going to have you guys look at the monitor one more time here tonight. A little something special.
Hey, Alex, I just want to say congratulations. I am super excited for you, and it's been an amazing, wonderful experience to watch you the past couple of years. You shine in so many ways, and not just on the court. I love you,
and I love the gift that you have of laughter, joy, and making people smile.
Hoi Matt. Hey, dag lieve Matt. Wat een bijzondere dag vandaag, lieverd. Senior night, laatste thuiswedstrijd en bijna het einde van je collegecarrière. En we willen even tegen je zeggen dat we ontzettend trots op je zijn. Op wie je bent, wat je doet en hoe je alle avonturen bent aangegaan de afgelopen jaren. We zijn trots op je, we missen je ontzettend en we hopen je heel gauw weer te zien. Dag lieverd, geniet van vanavond en tot gauw. Love you. Hou van je, dag Matt.
You have learned to be an overcomer of all things, and I am just so grateful as your father to be the father of a son such as yourself.
Son, you are definitely a man with no excuses, and I couldn't be more proud of you. Son, always keep God first and continue to strive for greatness. I love you dearly, and God bless.
All right, our appreciation to our seniors' families for sending those in. Brandon, you see that? And maybe you could share a few words about people that helped bring you to this point tonight.
Well, my parents, man, it's like, it's so much I can say, but we've been through it, and we've been through some ups and downs, and I just love them for just always just sticking with me and just putting what they put in me, I mean, it's almost, I can't really put it in words, but I'll forever love them unconditionally, and I'll never be able to repay them. I know I say it all the time, but it's so true, and I love my parents, and I'm glad God blessed me with them as my parents, so, man.
Matt?
If you put me up here for an hour, I feel like I wouldn't be able to say enough just about all the people that have helped me get here to this point. But I feel like my mom and dad would definitely be at the top of that list. Just to see that video of them it gets me a little emotional. I haven't seen them in a while at this point. Hope to be able to see them over the summer. I don't know how any of this is going to go, but I really truly miss them, and I'm so grateful to have them. And like I said, they're definitely at the top of my list of people that have helped me. I've had some amazing people in my life, including, of course, my amazing girlfriend, Maggie. We've been together for 3 years at this point. She's been there every single day for the past 3 years for me as well. So just had some really special people in my life that have helped me get here.
AB?
My mom, my girlfriend, Zoe, and my sisters. They've always told me just stay true to who I am. And it's for me, it's carried a long way just because, everyone goes through ups and downs, and just to have them there supporting you as much as they have been and are still supporting me, it's a blessing.
For any Cougar fans that might have missed the news earlier this year, the Barcello family name will continue playing hoop here a little bit, right? Can you remind us what's happening there?
Yeah, my youngest sister, Amanda Barcello, is going to come in as a freshman next year and hold it down.
So you're a BYU family now.
Oh, for sure. Bleeding blue.
Coach Pope, you've had interactions with all these guys' families, obviously in very deep and meaningful ways. As you watch that and as you hear them, what are your feelings?
Well, listen, these guys didn't become extraordinary people that they are by themselves. And, with all of their parents, whether I haven't had a chance to meet Matt's parents in person, but spent a lot of time on the phone and FaceTime with his dad, and of course spent a lot of time with Alex's mom. And I've talked about this before, but the first time I walked into Brandon Averett's house and met Belinda and Randy, I'm like, I don't know if this kid can play, but I guarantee he's a really special person because his parents are just unbelievable. And so they're all part of this BYU family. And I, everybody says that, but when I say it, it actually means something to these guys. And we're, their parents are intimately involved in what these guys are accomplishing right now. It's pretty awesome.
I'm so glad you guys get to experience, close to a true senior night experience here on the weekend, and we can all feel together a little bit of what we call Coach Pope Marriott Center magic.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, guys, we've got 45 seconds left in the show. We'll ask for 10 seconds from each of you guys about what you hope this final week means for you and BYU basketball. Matt?
It's going to be so special. I think this is for everyone to see finally in person what this team is really about.
BA?
It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be fun, and and we're so excited to go out there and battle in front of Cougar Nation finally, and we're just going to keep winning, you know.
AB, last word.
It's going to be special, very energetic, but business isn't done.
You guys are awesome. Look forward to this week and what's to come. Matt, thank you. Alex, Brandon, Coach Pope, for all those guys. My name is Greg Wrubell. Thanking you for joining us. We'll talk to you next Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern. For all these guys, I am Greg Wrubell saying this has been BYU Basketball with Mark Pope. Have a great week. Go Cougs.